good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to the Hayseed Night, where we have read all but one entry in Sepp's diary here. So let's go for it, and then we get to get out of Sepp's head and continue the story, I think. Yeah, let's read A Sea on Fire. All the remaining pages were completely charred, whether it was a reflection of reality or just a warning on Sepp's part, Adder could not tell. Only a few words remained legible under the soot of the very last entry. I never needed you. Past Adder, sitting on the beach all alone as he watched the place. As soon as he saw this, Adder knew. Oh, we've seen this, right? So Sepp comes over. Is this where she gave him the key?
Enjoying the view?
Adder jumped to his feet as Sepp's face appeared on his monolateral field of vision.
Well, hello, does and stags. It's the magic scammer at last. What took you so long, ma'am? I was starting to worry I'd have to go back home unstabbed.
Yeah, I think this is, and this is also the one where Adder gets those marks on his shoulders. So we don't need to see this again, right? We can just go back to the diary and yeah. Yeah. Scene gazes 31 out of 31. So yeah, we have seen everything. I guess there's nothing else to do here but to leave the diary. And I think now we're ready to get out of here and continue the story. We have learned some very interesting things and gotten to know some characters quite a bit better. Yeah, we've already got everything we can from here, so yeah, we're going to leave. Adder took a moment to reflect on the entries he'd read. If that wasn't enough, nothing would be. He headed towards the cracked wall and examined it for a while. It didn't look like anything less than an earthquake would make it tumble down. And what was the closest thing to an earthquake Adder had at hand?
Oh.
Adder rammed straight into the wall, proving that his will could shatter rocks, bricks, and mental defenses.
Whew, I sure hope that wasn't important. All right, come on, Adder. You got this. Sap! I think I got a good idea what's going on with you. Can you?
Enlighten me.
Adder took a deep breath, trying to recover from his fright, or rather using it as an excuse to order his thoughts for the last time. What was indeed so wrong with Sepp as to require his help? She does feel quite lonely, doesn't she? I mean, everybody always forgets her because of the curse. She doesn't really have any, like, really, really close people. So yeah, I'm choosing the lonely.
I've seen so many sad memories in there. I saw what happened with your mom and Heligrab and Miss Rochelle and me, and you sure got a lonely life. I was a grown man when I was dragged to the fort, but you were just a fawn when you were...
Get to the point.
Right, so you spend a life locking yourself away. And then here I come saying you could trust me because I don't care who you are or what you are. Now, I said I'd stick by your side and love you no matter what. But when you showed me your true self, I got scared and ran. You always said you didn't care about me, that I was nobody because I was just one of many others even if you liked me a little bit better. But I know that ain't true now. I hurt your feelings. Nobody couldn't do that. I want to tell you I'm sorry for what happened, but I don't think it'd be honest if I did. I wasn't ready for you then. I mean, I doubt I've been ready in 50 years either. I just don't mess with things I don't understand, you know? But that still don't mean I could just run away from them. I should have never made you feel lonely, Seb. I think I can apologize for that at least.
I should have just let you forget me like everyone else.
Think you'd been happier if you had?
Of course not. I'm never happy.
Hey now! That's a lie, ma'am! You've been happy plenty of times. Trust me, I've seen it with this eye. And you know what? You'll be happy again. This time with someone better than me. And if Lord Snotty Snout don't make you happy, just holler at me and I'll come give him a good old-fashioned ass whooping.
Do try to stay away from the scaffold a few more days at least, please.
There we go. At least I made you laugh one last time.
Don't say it like that. I'll have many more chances to laugh at you once you win the trial.
Seb sent Adder a look. Soft and sincere, encouraging even. And though the fiber that had brought them together lay dormant, this gaze spoke of something different, a friendship that had barely begun taking its first steps, a promise of future understanding perhaps. But for that future to happen, they both needed to leave the safety of the barriers they had so desperately clung to in their lives.
So, where do I go from here? How do I get out?
Oh, that's easy. I'll get you out of here.
Didn't you say you couldn't?
I just needed to keep your mind occupied long enough.
The world began making sense, little by little. Colors, shapes, shadows, and lights began falling into place as Adder's eye got used to reality once again. But somehow he wasn't the one looking the most stunned. The number of people in the audience had at some point tripled, and they were all staring at him agape. Illigrab's face was covered in dew, and not even Elbar could keep his jaw locked in place.
Y'all feeling all right there?
Adder directed a brief, confused look at Seb. She smirked.
Lad, I always knew you had the givings of a poet, but to think you had such words hidden inside of you!
This is impossible! How can a peasant, worse, a farmer like you have such a vast vocabulary and nuanced understanding of the allures of the agape? Your spiel was beyond beautiful. It was absolutely splendid!
Ah, has Seb been speaking through Adder?
But I purchased Jacif's affections legally, damn it! Her love belongs to me and no one else!
Did Sir Askadeth just casually admit he's a horn eater? Are nobles allowed to do that? You think it's a court fad or something?
Well, don't waste time looking, lads. I'm right here if you want to be fashionable.
I don't care how many horns the nobles are eating. That still doesn't explain those hand marks. The witch must have charmed Sir Askadath to distract us. She's charmed them both! Burn her! Burn the Sephi or we riot!
Burn the witch! Burn the witch! Burn the witch!
Lacking torches, the mob set their pitchforks on fire. They began walking towards Sepp as they chanted for her death. Adder realized that there was only one way to save Sepp and get out of this ungodly mess. True thing.
Oh, hold up. Oh, what's this? My head. Oh, what's going on? Where am I? Oh, the voices of this rock-throwing, witch-burning, bloodlusting mob have opened my eyes at last. Oh, the spell is broken. I could think clearly at last. Patron, how could you do this to me?
What? How dare you turn on me, Yodson?
This man put his hands on me and cast a spell, and oh, fire! Oh, fire all over the place. And next I knew, more than a dozen moons had passed, and not a contract in sight.
That is absolutely despicable! But how can we trust this truant? We only have his word.
That's not true. Look, the merchant's got hands. Witch hands. They fit perfectly fine in the marks, see? See? And you know what else? He's red, the color of fire. What more proof can any of us need, dear jury?
Yeah! That Ashakioff is right! The evidence is overwhelming! Why did we listen to a Sephi in the first place?
You're not getting out of here alive, son of Garthath! You hear me? I'm going to kill you! And then I'm going to fire you! You treacherous gilly wet-hoof! You're fired! Fired, I say! Fired!
You're the only one who's getting fired here, witch!
And so Jove spearheaded the mob's effort to build a pyre, taking the merchant and Adder's sentence with them. Well, I mean, luckily the merchant is kind of used to that sort of thing. I mean, I think he's been through that quite a few times.
Take it from a deserter, Pops. Better lose your job than your life.
Adder, you're a sneaky little bastard. But you're a good sneaky little bastard. Thank you for helping Sepp out, lad.
What in the actual name of Oblivion just happened?
Oh, Elbar. I told you didn't understand what a public trial would entail.
Indeed! It's obvious I clearly don't. I have failed miserably to channel the fickle ire of the masses towards the neck of this lowlife. But do you know which concept I have an excellent grasp of? Executions!
Elbar, don't be a sore loser. The town has already pronounced its sentence.
Listen to him, Sir Askadath. Revenge is pointless. Keep your head. You can still be a hero in my eyes.
This is not about heroism. It's a matter of honor. You have mocked me as you please, one-eyed scoundrel. But I shall be the one to have the last laugh. Die!
Elbar fell upon Adder with all the might of his cutlass as he screamed. His blade didn't cut flesh as it descended, but metal.
Stop this assault at once, Elbar!
Adder opened his eyes, finding an unexpected hero hovering above him.
Bearbith?
Berbiz had diverted the course of Elbar's sword with his parrying dagger, making his half-brother hit the ground instead.
What? I mean, my lord, I'm glad to see you standing, but I don't believe you're properly awake. Why did you stop me? Isn't this the one-eyed scoundrel that dared attack you in the first place?
He did attack me, yes, but he didn't do so without reason. I was the one who started the incident. This deer is innocent. I have come to pardon him at Aina's behest.
Aina's what now? What did you do to my boss, Four Eyes?
I merely welcomed her to my palace, even after my grievous attack on her person. She found her way to me, seeking to share the news of your impending death. You are truly a fortunate man, Ada. Aina's loyalty may be the most remarkable of her features. But I digress. It would seem that I suffered a brief bout of amnesia following the blow, prompting me to disregard her at first. But her arguments were so swaying that I could not bear to remain idle another second. I had to put an end to this injustice.
Then, this venison's claims were true after all? You attempted to dishonor a doe?
Well, I wouldn't say dishonor, or doe, but the point stands. Addled by my insatiable curiosity and my need to be right, I gave in to my impulses and acted in a completely unforgivable way. I would have absolutely struck myself given the occasion. Not quite as hard, however.
I am beyond befuddled by this turn of events! What would you have me do, my liege? I have already drawn my sword dramatically at him!
Oh, let it be. Throw your sword against the pavement or curse the skies with it. It will make no change to the fact that it was no deer's fault but my own. And perhaps his a little.
Mr. Bearbith,
There's nothing to be said, friend, truly. I should have not insisted so stubbornly. I still don't believe Aina could be anything remotely alive, in the traditional sense of the word. But I believe firmly that my behavior was out of place. An apology is the least I can offer. And besides, Aina promised to let me inspect every nook and cranny of her body if I came here to help you. Look, I have this signed note right here. Oh, I can't wait to follow up on my previous discoveries.
Oh, okay then. Adder didn't manage to take one single step forward before Illigrab lifted him off the ground.
Ada, no! Think happy thoughts, but not too happy. Think about our lessons on the importance of self-determination and the dangers of infantilizing women!
right, yeah! Saving me was mighty kind of her, and if she wanna keep promises and do something like that, then that's her business. Give me a moment, I think I'm gonna throw up.
Adder tumbled away towards the discreet corner, holding his hands over his whole face. Elbar did much the same, but in the opposite direction. Illigrab followed suit to make sure he didn't change his mind.
And speaking of discoveries, hello, dear. What's a subject like you doing here?
Sep's tail sprung up in horror as Berbis began walking in circles around her.
Lord Askadav, it's an honor to meet you again. Perhaps your memory is a little fuzzy after the incident. We already met some moons ago, remember?
Oh, that is absolutely preposterous! Concussions rarely affect long-term memory, and this is far from the worst blow I've received. You must be mistaking me for some other hornless deer. I assure you, I would not forget a frame like yours quite so easily. I had read about large gazelles during the heyday of Bazaxarat, when food was abundant and the vast majority of tasks were carried out by golems. But I'd never had the chance to examine an overweight Bahan with my own eyes. This will be a fantastic addition to my anatomical compendium. I'm going to need height, weight, age, and a few extra measurements, if you don't mind. I think I'll name your case Quaint Occurrence of the Cervine Gazelle Type. You could even pass for a doe.
Foregoing the need for permission or a single intelligent thought, Berbis gleefully produced a wax tablet and a stylus from his shawl.
I have to admit that you do look somewhat familiar, though. Aha, I see. You must be Elbar's kitchen maid, correct? Oh, I understand now. Someone has been sneaking into their master's pantry.
Everyone left in the plaza turned around upon hearing the slap. Everyone except for Burbius, who lay unconscious on the ground once more. Sep just stood there, her hands still midair.
Jasif! What is the meaning of this?
Sir Askadath, this is not what it looks like. It wasn't me, it was... Adder! What did you do?
Say what? Don't look at me. I was just puking my guts out over here.
Inside my mind, you walking pile of servine dung! What did you do to me?
Oh, well, I just, I had to make my way out somehow. I saw this wall and it was about to fall, so I just gave it a little push and... Let me guess, that was your patience? Am I right? Boy, oh boy, do I got a good eye for these things or what? This is why we don't mess with people's minds.
Adderson, son of Gurfath, I would strangle you with my own hands if I wasn't so convinced that your brain hasn't received any oxygen in a decade!
Babe, how could you do this to me? I was willing to forgive your bizarre infatuation with this rube. I could have forgiven this offense you cast upon my house, but how dare you lie so brazenly, woman? I saw you slap my brother with my own eyes!
But I didn't want to do that. I mean, I did, but there's a perfectly sound and valid explanation for this.
Tell you later!
Adder, no! I have to...
Betrayal! A knife upon my heart and soul! This treachery shall not stand, Jasif! Guards! Fetch them!
A marabunta of guards threw itself over the runway, over the runaway couple at Elbar's command. A group of them outran the rest quite easily, leaving Adder and Sep completely flanked, but not yet stopped. These guards that moved with feet light as the wind kept showing up where Adder least expected them, herding the two into one of the many alleyways that surrounded the bazaar. And then they ran faster yet, forming a wall blocking the entrance to the only escape path left. Adder didn't dare break his run as he approached the spear wall. Surrounded from every angle, and with a dozen guards chasing them, he could only run forward. But he didn't get impaled. The guard line in front of him separated momentaneously into two groups, letting them pass into the alley completely unharmed. One of the spearmen yelled something as Adder and Sep crossed the line, something that was definitely not Sirnar. They regrouped in a second, closing the entrance to the alley before the rest of the guards crashed against them like a wave of helmets and spears.
Did they just...
Adder couldn't finish the sentence, for he never learned from his worst flaw. He forgot to look ahead, and so he ran headfirst into a wall, one he couldn't break with his head. One made of fur, armor, and gleaming eyes.
Boss?
The weather's changed a lot while you weren't looking, puppy eyes. I'm your boss now.
I empty my stream of consciousness down into the driest silence, barely able to keep a smirk away from my face at the thought of Lynn screaming at me for leaving her hanging on such a dramatic note. Lynn? No response. My theatrics must have hit deeper than I thought. It's alright, Lynn. It was just a memory. No one's coming for... When I turn around, Lynn isn't even looking at me anymore. Her face lies flat against the table. Lynn? She died. She's dead. I scared her to... Never mind. I slip my staff back and let her snout fall softly on the table once more, in what looks like a slightly more comfortable position, or at least one where she won't drool all over the pages and fly off the handle when she wakes up. Foolish kid, falling asleep on the best part of the story. In front of a stranger, no less. The world must have truly changed a lot since the days I was convinced that I too would rather be a normal person. Or is this some sort of, ruminant compliment? Does it mean that you don't find me scary? That any half-assed attempt at basic decency I could have offered you were enough to allow yourself to rest easy around me? To annoy me with such forthright proof of inferred trust? Is that it? Are you actually capable of being cute sometimes, you bug-eyed imp? Lynn lets out a little sleepy whistle breath noise in response. No, of course not. You're just another dumbass without a care in the world. A bona fide mortal that's going to get me dragged into their tedious affairs. I guess this is my cue to leave then. Then again, I can't possibly leave without getting mad at you for this. Yes, I should wait until you get some proper rest and then scold you for being a slacker. How long did this sleep thing take again? Just a few hours having Lynn look straight into my soul, and I no longer feel at ease waiting with all these thoughts bouncing inside my head and no one to pull them out of my ears. This is why I hate mingling with mortals. I feel like decades have passed between tonight and this morning. No, it can't be. Was it really just this morning? After much rummaging around in my pockets, I finally grab hold of my sketch pad. I felt moved to capture the shape of the hills in the distance as dawn broke, and sure enough, the ink still looks fresh. It was most certainly today. I am back. I thought I would know Heirloom like a long-lost enmity, a relative you don't want to run into, the loudest of them all. But that was far from the case. The streets were no different, but the paths now led elsewhere. The purveyors and their crowds remained ever-shifting, screaming praises about all the items one could ever hope to need or want. Everything had changed and everything stayed the same. Unaware, uncaring, blissfully unbothered by my presence. Everything until...
You seem lost, traveler.
I faltered in my step, having the strangest impression. A nostalgic feeling, something that couldn't possibly exist. I felt like the phone was addressing me.
Hey, you! I'm talking to you!
Though hope was a rare commodity in my heart, I still turned my face towards the little bluster, surely calling out to some other mark in the crowd.
Heed my words, Craven! Your silence and your hat shall not hide you from me, for I am the blood of old Sephi. Your thoughts stop being yours alone the moment we first locked eyes.
Grave mistake. What do...
Yes! I see it crystal clear! What does this amazing young gazelle want from me, you ponder? Word for word. Totally not actually looking down at me at all, but no matter. What I want is of no consequence to me or to you. I can tell from your staff that you don't hail from these lands, and from your garb that you don't come from this age. An enigma has brought you to Heirloom, Orchid of the Steppes, and muddled your heart with fear. But deep down you know, you need not solve it alone.
Unfavorable stall positioning, pitiful decoration, boorish costuming, terrible characterization. A child, playing dress-up, had somehow perceived me. Yeah, okay, I suppose you'll do. I'm looking for a deer, or rather, whatever's left of him. Does the name Addersind ring a bell for you?
Ring a bell, you say? Ring a bell, you say? Thank your luck, Pilgrim. You shan't take a step further than you have, for this whisper of a great soul is so ingrained in my mind that it may as well be my own. I have a tale to tell, if you have a coin to spare.
Can I just get directions to an archive or something instead?
That'll cost you two.
We sure are back in the capital. Fine. This had better be good.
There's no finer story in all of Dakna. For if in Heirloom you hear rumors of a knight, there is but one name that should ever come to mind. The Knight of the Upper Field, the hero that fought the odds and went from humble beginnings to the star of stardom. Adderson, the Beast Slayer, the swordless knight that changed the fate of the kingdom for the rest of eternity, bringing peace to mortal kind and uniting the ruminants under one flag. Where didst thou cometh from? Where didst thou wend? If thou hearest mine own tale truly, then leaf, thou shouldst know it.
He didn't sound like that.
What?
Adder was a farmer. He didn't know half the words you said.
I knew that. I was just taking artistic licenses.
Your eye patch is on the wrong side of your artistic license.
No way! Everyone knows the knight was missing his right eye.
Everyone is wrong then.
Oh, so you're the only person in the world that knows the last thing about him. Is that it?
Basically.
Why?
I knew him.
You're kidding, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Bye.
Oh, wait, what? Wait! What kind of reaction is that? You really knew him?
Nope. Farewell. I really should have run away right then. I wouldn't have to deal with this nonsense if I had done so. This is taking much too long. Tired of reminiscing, I peer over Lynn's side of the table. It's only now that I notice a page peeking out, rather conspicuously, under her nose. Are those doodles? So kids these days still like drawing, huh? Though, from the way she's holding on to them even in her sleep, it's clear she'd rather eat them than let me have a look. I grab my staff and take a few tentative steps around the little miscreant, careful not to wake her up. She spent the last eternity blooming over a private tower of sheets, wet ink, and an empty bowl of candied almonds that she bummed off me. Yes, indeed, it is I who provided the tools of the trade and ensured the continuation of her existence so she could focus on writing. I deserve to know what kind of content I'm enabling.
Oh, don't need the soup. It's made out of soup. Oh.
Undeterred, I stretch my arm towards the page she's been working on once more, trying to drag the page away from her grasp. It's almost mine, just a little more.
I'm awake!
So you are. Now help me up, will you?
Promise you won't rip my guts out for falling asleep?
No. Lynn crouches down next to me, purportedly to hand me back my staff, casually shoving the sketched page behind her.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
The obvious problem seems to be that you stopped writing a while ago.
But what? No, of course I was writing everything down. I mean, I was trying to. It's not like I didn't want to write, but I've got this thing when I eat lots of sweets at once, and everything goes wobbly, and it's even worse when I'm tired, and...
Goodness sake, Lynn. If you're not feeling well, you should just say that.
No, I'm all right. I swear, I can handle this. We're doing something important here for the honor of my family and stuff.
Your family? That's right. There are people waiting for you. Look at me, preaching about past mistakes when the present is staring me in the eye. I can't believe I forgot something so basic. Let's just leave the story here, Lynn. Your parents must be worried sick about you.
No! Look, I'm awake. So awake. I don't have a curfew or anything like that. Just get me some coffee and I'll keep writing all night.
No, I have things to do when the sun's out, and I don't plan to add "taught a kid that crunch is any good for development" to the list of crimes I have committed today. Come on, little rebel. I'll walk you home.
I can't.
You can't?
I've been thinking a lot about it, and I can't decide if I like Gator or Gilbert better. Sure, Gator has that morbid, age gap, forbidden love-ish kind of appeal, but Gilbert has so much chemistry that I believe it could actually happen, you know? I also think that Asif has a lot of potential.
Asif? Oh, you mean Sepena.
Basic, but I can't deny it has a great ring to it.
You're basic. Lynn doesn't reply. She merely sinks her head farther into the desk as she scribbles something. I wait for the eventual comeback that I know she is meticulously composing in her mind, but it never comes. Instead...
Wait! Don't go! I'm not lying, see? We can't stop here. I don't want to go until you finish the story. Don't go! Please! I'm going to write even faster. Stay a little longer.
A different question begins to take shape inside my mind. Lynn, there's something you're not telling me.
Gee, there are a lot of things I'd love to tell you that you don't want to hear. You'll have to be more specific.
About you. Lynn stares at me for a good long while. Eventually, she returns to her doodles.
You don't want to know that either.
What would you know? I guess that's supposed to be how would you know what I want, Brat?
I knew you'd say that too, but it's still better than the alternative. Trust me, it's for your sake.
Nonsense. I know gazes don't work like that. You're just deciding what's best for me on your own. How are you supposed to know what I need when I don't have a clue about it?
I thought that was what the last chapter was all about. That we all need friends because you won't ever know yourself as well as you think you do.
We're not. Take your eyes off my thoughts already and go do something better with your fleeting life.
So, you really don't want me to write anymore?
No. Let's just go back to writing. Yes, I'll tell you the story. You write. That's what we came here to do, not waste time chit-chatting and lazing about pretending to be friends. Lynn puts a hand on the edge of her nose. I am very nearly about to head for a bridge and swim to another town myself.
Okay. Look, I don't know if I'm skilled enough to deal with... I don't think I even have a name for whatever this is. Let's just stop freaking out for a minute and talk about...
The tip of the staff is just sturdy enough to not split as it hits the ground. My scream is the wooden echo that bounces all over the library. You want to know the story of your ancestor? You write. That was the deal. There's nothing left in the room but silence. I know the way Lynn must be looking at me, even through my turned back. I know the way I would be looking at myself, at least. I barely dare turn my snout towards her when I hear her stretching her arms over the pages.
Wow, that's so... Oh, that's so scary. All right, so what was it? Who dares hurt Aina? What are we fighting now? Did the Makadar find Adder at last? Was it the moneylenders with the knives and stuff?
No, not yet. We can't talk about that yet. I feel like there's someone I'm forgetting.
Someone with thumbs, horns, and an overly helpful disposition, apparently.
Yes, you're right. That is just the person we're missing.
The prophecy?
What prophecy?
My prophecy!
So, about that Sepena content.
Let's just get this over with.
Right, Chapter 4. Everything you aren't, or the importance of faking the virtues that you lack. Not that far away from the fateful encounter where we left off, missed perhaps by a matter of minutes, linguistic skills and general irrelevance to her life, there walked a goat, or they certainly attempted to. Though the bustling streets were yet to know her, ordinary as she looked, caked in red step dust and dressed like a mere caravan keeper, history would remember her in a completely different light.
She had a prophet!
She was really short.
Oh.
A petite ibex with horns so curled and large that the combination would have looked rather comical had Servine society not been obsessed with the way it was with horn size. To the average deer, she would have surely seemed a rather formidable opponent. Seen from any other less distorted angle, however, the goat would have been a tiny girl in an infinite city, marching to the beat of her own drum. And her timing could not have been any worse.
For
Find them! Find those traitors! They can't have gone very far!
Excuse me,
The size of this newcomer was so below the Akazorian average, in fact, that she was just about a whole head short of reaching the necks of most locals around her. Appropriately equipped only to address open collars and high belts.
Beasts! I saw them! It was a pack of beasts!
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
you can...
Golems! It's an army of golems!
One can tell me how arrived to the Temple of Hate?
Out of the way!
Catching an elbow with her face as she traversed the panicked crowd ended up being, therefore, a matter of statistics. The goat lost her footing and plummeted backwards toward the ground. Instead of flagstones and a nasty new chip in her horns, the girl found herself falling on what felt like, a prickly nest of some sort.
You're going to have to speak a little louder than that for anyone to hear you today, lassie.
Lassie?
Still stunned, she slowly dragged her eyes up from her pine needle cushion, soon meeting two golden eyes that sat like amber drops under a helmet. Her head stopped spinning long enough to finally spot the giant tree amongst the deer.
Bisected! That was bisected just now, right? No, that's not... I mean, I understood it. Your speech was perfect. A respectable sibling. I'm so sorry. I should know better than to question the wisdom of a child of 2.
You would be the first one, really.
Anyway, I'm so glad you're here. I couldn't even find my way past the market. This place is so different from home, and there are so many people, and everyone walks so fast that I...
The goat squeaked in terror as she was lifted into the air by the collar of her vest. But the fright soon came to pass as she understood it was simply to be moved towards the giant tree man's shoulder.
Why don't you take a deep breath and hop on up before you get trampled, darling? Come on, I'll give you a lift.
Please, I wouldn't dare impose on a sibling like that. I don't mind being a little lost. I brought enough money to pay for a guide, see?
The goat opened her brimming purse eagerly, flashing the result of months of work to the crowd around her without a second thought.
You have no idea how lucky you are that I found you first.
Yeah, you can say that again. Poor thing. I'm very much looking forward to finding out more about her and about what business she has in this town, and about what fate befalls her here. But I think I'm going to end this episode here, and we'll continue in the next one. Unfortunately, it kind of seems like we have to wait a while to continue Adder's story. It was kind of left at quite a cliffhanger. I wonder what's happened to Aina. If she isn't Adder's boss anymore. And what's going to happen to Adder and Sepp now? Oh well, I'm sure we'll find out at some point. Yeah, we'll continue from here in the next episode, and probably at least for a while. I feel like the story is going to follow this goat here, but I'm hoping we'll get back to Adder soon. Because yeah, he was left at a bit of a cliffhanger there. But for now, thank you so much for watching and spending a little of your time with me here today. It was lovely to have you. Please remember to be kind to yourself. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you again next time